Find yourself a booth, order up a cold one. This is the Spring Bar.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Spring Bar. Glad to have you here. Ho ho ho! Not quite Christmas yet.
Not quite Christmas.
I think next episode is our Christmas episode, but this episode is actually a listener topic episode.
Do pay attention.
BTL watch collector sent in this idea. We're talking our Regerts. watches that we regret buying and or selling. As always, I'm with my co-host Joe in the OC. Joe, the Hives really need to make records.
They do, or go home.
Or go home.
Although I did get my Spotify Wrapped, and amazingly, the Hives were very high up on the list.
Do you do that? I don't. I got the email that's like it's almost ready for you. I'm like, I don't care.
I didn't get the email. I just looked at it, and I do it, but I do it because I've got students. And so we talk about it in some of my classes, like what was your rap, what were your insights, that kind of thing. Although the students did bring up the fact that Spotify has been letting people go and they were relying more on AI, and it wasn't nearly as good as it has been in the past. And I concur.
Really? Huh.
Yes. But I also
ruin
got a new computer, and I have access to all of my music, all 57,000 songs or whatever it is. It's a lot.
I don't doubt that.
Hang on. I'll tell you. 73,243.
Oh, you were just slightly off.
Well, it changes. So.
But of those 73,000 songs, do you have anything good on there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I got a bunch. I got really good stuff.
Okay.
Throbbing Gristle. I got Throbbing Gristle, Mike.
Oh, well. How about Flogging Molly? You got any of that?
I got Flogging Molly. Yes.
Okay. All
got the
weird
Pogues.
stuff.
I mean, you want to go that route? Yeah, and I've got the Chieftains too. Bring it.
Nope. I know better. I know better. Oh, what you got there? What do you have in the glass and on your adjacent wrist?
This would be a Bloody Mary, sir. Bloody Mary. And on the wrist, I actually there's a funny story, true story.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Accutron.
Oh, that weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, and it's really, really thick, and it's got this funky bezel, and it's a screw down crown, and it's like a silver mirror polished dial. It's just bizarre.
I had that for a short time. What did I do? Did I change the dial or the hand?
Yeah, we swapped out the dial because we got the Dave had the extra dial.
Yeah. That thing is just so odd.
It's bizarre. It is absolutely bizarre. And I don't know what the heck to do with it. I don't know anything about it. But I had to replace the battery because it had stopped working. So ordered a battery from Amazon. Package came, and it's like that big envelope, and it's light because it's a watch battery, right? Mm-hmm. Open it up, empty. They forgot to pack the battery, so they sent me a package. Right. So contact Amazon. I'm like, hey, no item, and you have to go through this.
We're halfway there.
You have to go through this whole AI thing on whether or not it's like, okay, so what's the issue? It's like, well, didn't receive it. Did you order multiple things and one item didn't arrive? Yes. Did the item have multiple parts? No. Oh, well, we'll reissue the item, but you need to return the other one. I'm like, I return what? There's nothing to return. And so nothing came. And so I reach out again and finally end up, getting to a person. They're like, oh, well, we'll just refund you. Like, okay, so I need to buy it again? Yeah, you need to buy it again. I'm like, okay. So they refunded me. I bought it again. It came, and now the watch works. So,
oh, well, there you go. So when it came the second time, did it come in an envelope or did it come in a box? Usually my batteries come in a box.
Came in an envelope again. Another envelope.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's all right.
Well,
the box is
it's always so funny when you get a fairly sizable box, and it's just
Oh,
and there's one maybe two batteries inside of
right,
it.
right. That's always the thing for Accutron because you got to get the special cells and whatnot. You get those
Yeah,
cells and get it put in right. Yeah. But normally I'll buy those in like sets of 5 because usually they all run out around the same time. So,
yeah. Oh, there you go with the auto
huh? Auto
tracking
move,
camera again. Yeah, look at that.
autofocus.
In
Right?
I'm in new location again. I'm
You are
actually on my couch. This
comfy.
is the most comfortable I will ever be for one of these recordings. So I think
Until
it's
you
just
move again.
going to be a game. Every episode I'm in
There is.
somewhere new. Just wait
Yeah,
till I'm
when
in the
you.
bathroom next time.
Yeah, I was gonna say you do it on the toilet and we're done.
Uh,
Flush.
the one I'll be in the tub, in the bath, a bubble bath.
That yeah, we might be done with that one too.
Candles behind me,
It's been a hard day.
little glass of Chardonnay on the edge.
Well, what do you got? What's
Oh
in?
goodness. I have a spiked eggnog.
Mhm.
I kind of doctored up a little bit with some peppermint and cinnamon and some whiskey.
Mint.
This is the 80 proof whiskey, not
Uh,
the Evan Williams.
uh.
Went a little light this time. But it's delicious. Very good.
Evan Williams does make an eggnog. It's pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm. They do, but I already have the Evan Williams. So this is actually Evan Williams non-alcoholic eggnog.
I am going to say, however, and I just want to point this out that so I went to visit you last summer, end of July.
Yeah.
I was at your place, and there's the little bottle, right?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a little bottle.
Small. Well, I have like I think this is probably
It's
my
smaller than
fourth.
that.
Yeah, that's the fourth one of those I've been through. So
Yeah,
you
I
really
know
need to
where you're
work on
going with
your
this.
whiskey consumption.
Well,
Just
I'm
saying.
not I'm not a huge whiskey drinker, but
Ah,
it's almost gone though, which is why I broke into the other bottle because I want to save the last little bit of this for something special.
something special. And what's on the wrist?
On the wrist, I'm wearing my I don't know.
Yeah, hard to say.
No, there you go. Kind of maybe
Kind
shadows.
of.
Oh
No.
wait, there it is. Well, it's a Jetstar E.
Okay.
This is one of the extras that I have.
All right. Anything new?
So no, I don't. I think I'm done for the year. There's too much other stuff going on right now. The holiday season and I got stuff that's not selling, and
Yeah,
so I just really
you
don't
got
have
woes.
much to play with right now. But you,
I got that
so
bezel.
that's not new,
It's
but
not new, but the bezel's new. And
the
so,
bezel makes it. Bring it a little closer so we can see it better. Really like
yeah,
that watch, and
it's
that
so
so
different than
explain.
what it was.
It's not that is not a Bulova bezel. So
It's
explain what
not.
that is.
So there's a guy in Spain, Otocadolo Industries, I think that's how you say it, and he makes bezels. He's done stuff with Imperial Watch Company, and they do kind of like it's not quite an Everhard clone, but it's close. And so he's done some
Close, yeah.
bezels with them. He got me one for my mill ships. It's more of a like a Bakelite look. He's
Well,
done a
which
Caravel.
is what this is too, right? It's kind of that
Yeah, it's
Bakelite
good,
look.
similar in production, and it's real good. It's real
Hmm.
good. The quality is fine. The finishing is really good. And so for a project watch, that bezel I think may come today. And so I'm gonna see if
Oh,
I can
really?
send him one to try to get something for that white dial
Okay.
V that is currently in repair.
Yeah, so again, I had that watch. We did a whole dial and hand replacement on that one,
Yeah,
but you had the real faded bezel. But
yeah.
that new one just brings out
It's
the
so
blue in the
different, man.
dial.
It's so
Yeah,
different. It makes the dial look so good. It makes the whole thing yeah, it's like a new watch.
yeah, I like that. The
Yeah.
Oceanographer M, right?
Oceanographer M, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
I'm a fan. It's yeah, it is way way better. I wear it a lot more because I was like initially it had the dial was patinaed and probably had some kind of water damage. That was my impression of it. So this is a new old stock dial and now a replacement bezel, and here we are.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Good job. Good job.
Mhm.
So is that all you got that's new?
That's it.
Are you done for the rest of the year too?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Maybe.
Huh.
I'm looking at
Okay.
some stuff.
All right.
I'm looking.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I know what you're waiting for.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
there's a Complecto has just put out a teaser
Uh-huh.
on something, and I got a good idea of what it is, so I'm in line, and we'll see. We'll see if I can pull that one off or not.
So they're launching it on what, the 13th? I think it
Yeah,
said the 12th or the 13th.
yeah.
It'll be for sale. You can buy it that day. Now, um, it's another Bulova
Collaboration watch.
collab watch.
Yeah,
So the last time they sold something, it went through the Bulova website. Bulova is really good about UPS 2 day.
yeah.
So if you get one, you very well could have it within the next several days afterwards. So
I'm well, considering that it's probably shipping from Torrance in California, then yeah,
oh,
I
shit,
should.
I forgot. Yeah, it's right there by
Right?
you. Oh, you'll have it
I
the
should
next
have it
day.
real quick.
Yeah,
So
you can go pick it up.
I probably could. I
Yeah,
probably could. So there's that, and then there's something on eBay that I'm looking at, and I may not pull the trigger on that for a little bit, but we'll see.
which is kind of your option two,
Yeah, it is my
your
option
backup,
too.
which I've been pushing you to buy.
I know. I know. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see.
Yeah,
I'd like for the
You're
seller
gonna
to get a
wait
little
too
more
long.
hungry.
I don't know.
We'll see.
For what it is, that's not a bad price if we're being
It's
honest.
not. It's not.
No,
It's not. But it's the holidays.
I'm actually surprised it has not sold yet.
Well, I think that's
If
part of the
if we're
point,
being
right?
real, yeah, I don't know. I'm very surprised. All right, well, moving on. Our regrets.
Our regrets.
Yeah, I should have put a tattoo on my
Should
neck.
yeah.
No regrets. Yeah.
None. All right.
So I was, like I said before, having a conversation with a listener, and he was talking about a watch that he had that he sold, and he says, "Man, I really wish I would have hung on to that one." He says, that'd be a great idea for an episode. Your impulse buys or sales, and just your regrets and lessons learned from it. So it's happened to all of us. If you collect watches, you've bought stuff that you wish you wouldn't have, and you've sold stuff that you wish you still had. So we're kind of going through our list of stuff. And Joe, I'll let you start. When
Okay.
it comes to buying, let's go through some of the things that you've bought that you really wish you didn't.
Well, okay. Okay. It's a weird list for me. There's a bunch of impulse buys, and I don't even have pictures of those. Like those are gone. They move on real quick. There was a weird 666 that had like a steel bezel insert at that was just god awful. Um,
Hmm.
there were a couple others, and just some weird Frankenwatch stuff that's like, nah, it's got to go. But the ones that I held on to and then sort of lived with for a little while, and the biggest one I guess is that those GMTs, the GMT twos. So it's an Indonesian special, and that's kind of all we can really say about them. I mean, it's an ETA movement. It's a slaved GMT hand, and they're designed to look like the Rolex. And so
Mm-hmm.
like it's a 5 times signed watch. You've got the dial, you've got the crown, you've got the case back, and then you've got the movement. And this is a display case back at that. But then also there's this rehaut all around the inside of the dial that says Bulova on it. And I had two of those, right? So I have that Coke version, and then that I don't even know what you would call that, like a champagne dial, and it had sort of this bronze bezel that it it was a weird watch. Bulova thinks that they were faked. I'm not sure, but
I
we're
don't
also not
know
sure
about that one.
exactly what the year was either. And
So these the movements didn't have a date code on them because these are 90s era.
it was late 90s because of the specific movement. That's when it was
Yeah.
developed. So, I had somebody date the movement for lack of anything better. But yeah, they were
I
just kind
don't
of
think
bizarre.
I don't think these were faked. I believe in my heart of hearts these were Italian market because we've seen so many of these things pop up.
I don't think they were Italian market. I think they were Indonesian market because they've only come out of Indonesia. You don't find them for sale anywhere else.
No? Oh,
No,
that could be
no.
true.
Like
Now,
so like the Fleet Commander, that Yachtmaster one copy, those ones
hmm
you can see out of Italy. But these ones I have not seen anyone for sale other than in Indonesia. And there were a bunch of varieties. So there was a polar, there were a bunch of different Pepsis, there was a root
yeah,
beer, there was a green.
there's all kinds of them.
Yeah, so there were lots of options for these.
So this one here,
That's the
the
okay. That's the funny one. I
yeah,
actually and so I had that one and I sold it
you bought
and
it twice.
then I saw the person selling it and they had it listed for a stupid low number, like half
Less
of
than
what they
what you
bought it
sold
for.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I bought it back and then sold it again.
So you made money twice on this
I made
watch.
money twice off of that watch, and then I actually had the original owner of that watch reach out to me and say, "Hey, do you still have it?" And like he showed me pictures, and there's a flaw on the dial, and he had like so we straight up perestroika that, and Perez uh, tried to do the whole bit like he had it was numbers matching and the whole thing. I'm like I don't have it. It's out in the
Is this
wild somewhere.
the flaw here? The dial flaw? It's like it looks like a little mark on the dial right there.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
That it
Yeah.
there. Okay.
So he had a picture with that in it. I'm like, yep, it's the same watch. And he was from Indonesia as well. So those
Oh,
ones are funky. Um, other regrets. If we move on,
yeah. What do you got that's next?
it'd be the angle hour, pink strap.
Oh. So
Yeah,
you've had this one for a little while.
I
I remember this
did.
one.
I got
Why?
it non-working,
Okay.
and I mean, so Breguet hands. The inner circle it's attached to the date on the dial. So like you pull the crown out to the first position and you can adjust that inner circle and it rotates completely.
Okay.
But the problem
Which
with
does
that,
what?
huh?
Which does what?
I don't know because I don't know how to use it because it doesn't have the outer ring. And that's the
Okay.
issue with those watches. You look at like the Longines, it has a engraved bezel, and that's how you use it to determine placement based upon longitude, latitude, and some other stuff. And there's a
So
whole method.
this bezel is supposed to be engraved with something?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
supposed to either have engraving or maybe some of them had a decal, and it looks like that just got completely lapsed. I
Huh.
mean, the colors are fantastic,
Yeah.
you know, but it just didn't do quite enough for me, and man, I lost money on that. Good Lord.
How much did you lose?
I don't even remember. It's
Let
not
everybody
pretty
feel
though.
your pain.
I want to say I probably lost maybe $300 on that
Huh. That's
because
not.
the repair was significant to try to get it to work, and I just took a bath.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And so that one, like that was kind of a regret to get just because it was, I mean, it was okay. It's an okay watch, I guess, but didn't really fit with what I was doing. Wasn't going to work with my collection really well. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of gotta go. It's interesting, but it wasn't interesting enough to hang on to.
Hmm. Well, did you? Where did it go? Was this an eBay sale or
Yeah,
somebody that
I
you
just
knew?
I just moved it on. Somebody picked it up.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do you regret buying?
Oh, the
This
Sky
was
Star.
next. Yeah. See, that's funny. I find it funny that you regret having this watch because these things are just so cool and
But
they're
it didn't.
relatively hard to find, and
Yeah.
especially in the orange.
Yeah. It wasn't in bad shape. I mean, the bezel isn't horrible, but it's still bad enough. That it makes it hard to read. And if like
Hmm.
unless you get a really good condition one of those, like our mystery friend,
Hmm.
and his selection of those is just killer. That one, it was faded. It worked. It was okay, but it wasn't fantastic. And again, this is right around the time that I started to move into the 666 watches. And so it's like this is all the stuff that I let go for that. Like,
So let me ask you this question. Now, having a way to have bezels remanufactured, if you could have a bezel made for this that was not faded, that made it look new, much like your Oceanographer M, would you still want to have this watch?
no, I'd let it go.
No?
uh
Okay.
No, for whatever reason, like it just doesn't work for me. And I'm an orange guy. I like orange dials, and I'm okay with all of that sort of stuff. But this one, the way that it's faded and then the black indices on it, it doesn't tickle me. So like it had to go. It
Okay.
just and yeah, it's like not so much, not so much. But then we talk about like those are ones I sort of regret buying, but the ones I regret selling, it's those militaries right there. So there's the A11 and the
Start with
A17.
this one here.
Yeah, that one that was from like 44 in real good shape. The hands had been redone, but you could see where the whole case back, like that watch had lived, and it moved on to our mystery collector friend, but it
Oh,
was in
really? He
pretty
has
good.
this one.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
click over to the next one, and that's the A17, like the Korea version, and that one actually it had like an aftermarket, not an aftermarket crown, but like a service crown because the
Okay.
crown was sloped on the
Yeah,
outsides of it. You can
it's
see it a
weird.
little bit there, like kind of like a Hershey's or a Reese's cup.
It looked like Reese's cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not, I mean, it wasn't a bad watch by any means. It had the Parkerized finish on it. The whole handset was really good. The loom was it was great. But I wasn't wearing them enough. They were kind of small. I have them on those are on like new old stock issue canvas. It's like 16
Hmm.
millimeter lugs. So they're it's a military watch. They're small. I regret letting those go. Just from a historical standpoint. I mean they're real good.
Yeah, I think I like this one better of the two.
Mm.
That white dial.
Yeah,
That
then
is.
there was white dials and black dials in that with that sub-seconds. And that's I mean that's the watch that won the war, you know. It's the contemporary of the Dirty Dozens. It's just the American version. And so Bulova, Elgin, Waltham, they all made a version of that and they were interchangeable. So when you got these and if they have the ORD designation on the back,
Mhm.
they were like the movements would be interchangeable and the
Hmm.
service would be the same sort of thing. So like they were just sort of thrown into a big pile and you would get what you would get. So those are cool watches. Those are really neat.
Yeah, these are really cool. Would you buy one again?
I might. I might. I
Yeah.
would be more interested probably in getting like the reissue that Bulova's done, like the hack.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that like I don't I that might be where if I were to get one again, I would go that way. I'd get the VWI issue one. And there's
Gotcha.
that.
So what's this one? This
That's the mono pusher.
yeah.
Okay.
So
And so
is this a you wish you didn't sell or wish you
I
didn't
regret
buy?
I regret letting that one go a little bit.
Do you?
Yeah, because it's so unique. There aren't many of them around. You don't get to see them that much. And so like the dial needed some work, but that's how it came. It's a vermeil case, so it's a sterling silver case with a gold finish. Smallest chronograph movement, mono pusher, and the story is that it was a prototype watch for navigation that
Hmm.
they tried to figure out a way to make it work, and I think they developed it right around the time of the end of the war, and then it just kind of fell out, and they didn't do anything with it.
So explain for those who may not know what a mono pusher is
So it's a
and why it only
chronograph, but
has one pusher.
instead of having two pushers, it's just got one pusher, and so it's start, stop, reset. And that's the reason that they went to the two, because you can lose track of where you are with that. And so you gotta click it 3 times versus just click the top and then click the bottom to reset. Great
And
little
some of they're cool. Some of them have the actual pusher in the center of the crown.
the
I think
crown. Yeah,
those are
Bulva's got. There were 2 other versions of it. This is the only one with that separate pusher. And they had 2 others with a crown pusher in them. Like there's not a whole lot of information about them, so it's hard to know if that second's hand was correct. The
mm,
handset we think was correct, but there aren't a lot of them around, so there's not a lot to compare.
yeah.
But I mean, the colors on the dial, so it's like the loom on the numerals, and then there's that red outer track, the telemeter track, and then there's it was cool. It's a cool
Yeah.
little
Let's
watch.
see, the red outer track leads me to believe that second hand is probably as it should be.
It's hard to say because you didn't see that style until later. And so I think it's a later version. It's still a Bulova hand, or Bulova had hands that looked like that, but
Mhm.
you didn't see that on chronographs at the time. So hard to say.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's only about maybe 3 or 4 of those around, so it's hard to judge. What about you?
So I have regrets.
Of
Regrets.
course, of course you do.
One of which is really the let me pull up my pictures here and then we can get further into it. But one of them is the watch that I'm wearing now. The Jetstar E. I, you know me and my Jetstar obsession. And I have one that I redone real nice for myself. I've done a couple for clients. And the problem with these watches is the dial.
Yeah, it gets
These
that
dials,
leprosy, right?
yeah, they do not age well. The coating that went over the dial paint itself just flaked horribly, and it took the dial paint with it.
Yeah, and so it ends up with
So
that. Yeah, and they look really bad, and it's not
they
even like
look
a
really
patina
bad.
thing.
And
It's
you can
worse.
see if you look close enough where this one has got some spotting on it, like this is the beginning stages of that happening.
Yeah,
Um, to find one with a really nice dial is extremely hard, and that's why generally these watches sell for a little bit more because
just getting the condition.
just the condition of the dial itself. Yeah, this one here has a fat handset. This one came with 2 different style handsets. This is um, the fatter option, and these are a lot more rare. So it's cool. When I come across these that have a good dial, I find that I just click buy it
Yeah,
and I get excited about it. And it's like, oh, I'm going to restore this one really, really nice. And then somebody's going to pay me a lot of money for it. But the problem is these are such a pain in the ass to restore. They're so thick and chunky and there's so much polishing involved that the polishing never comes out quite right. This old steel doesn't manipulate like the modern 316 steel does. It's very different to work with. They've all been through 50 plus years of being knocked around and worn, and it's you get a lot of chunks and divots missing, and it's just hard to work around it. And then you get to the bracelet, which is folded steel, which is even more difficult to work with because you can only take so much out of it before it gets too thin. And that has a weird brushed center section, polished edges, and God, I hate working on these watches. And I have this plus 2 more laying around that I'll
yeah.
just never do anything with. So I regret having bought anything in addition to what I really needed. this being, included.
All
So
right.
the next buying regret, oh, this thing. Early in my collecting days,
Now,
I bought
Vostok.
a Vostok Amphibia, and
Yeah,
it's a
with that
very, very cool cushion case.
orange bezel sucker. How
And
big
and
was
this is
that?
this is actually an aftermarket bezel. I bought this bezel. I think I paid $50 for the bezel itself because it's like
Did you
a
really?
an Omega Planet Ocean style bezel. And I'm like, that's really cool with the colors and the hour markers and that. It looks fantastic. This thing never ran right from the start. It stops, it starts, it runs fast, it runs slow. I've tried to fix it. I've bought parts for it. I've interchanged things. There is nothing that I can do to fix this watch to make it run right or just even run at all.
Where?
And
Okay,
it's
how'd
not
you let that
worth,
go? Who bought that?
oh, I didn't. I still have it.
Oh, do you really?
I still have it because it's not even worth trying to sell.
Oh, you're stuck. You're stuck. Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I paid, what did I pay? Maybe like $75 for the watch, brand new, and then $50 for the bezel. And nobody's going to pay me anywhere near what I have into it. So it's just one of those out of principle. I just have it
So, if you're
and
looking
and
for
just
a Vostok, Michael entertain trades.
yeah. Oh no, I've had this thing for years and it'll never sell. Yeah.
Trade.
So I
Looking for
completely
trades.
regret buying this watch. It just
Yes.
it looked so cool. I'm like, wish it never happened.
Right.
Okay, so this is a more recent purchase.
Yeah, that
This is,
that I like
this is
that. I still
I
like that.
I like it too. And this was very much an impulse buy. I've been wanting a whale dial for so long.
Right.
Generally, as soon as you put that whale on the dial, price goes up.
Yeah, for
And
what the watches are. It's so
for what
funny
they
too.
are, and then a lot of them aren't in the best of condition, but because it has the whale on the dial, the prices are just ridiculous. This one was $175, right? Below 200 bucks for a good condition whale dial. And on the back, it had a real cool inscription that said Love Vera. And like, there's a story behind it. You know, somebody gave it to somebody else as a gift or anniversary or Christmas or birthday or whatever it may be. And it's made it through all these years and it looks fantastic. And I'm like, I just want to have it. It's a whale, it's a cool story, and I bought it. The problem is, number one, it's gold. And I don't like wearing gold watches because if something happens to it, I can't correct it. I can't bring it
Gold
back
plate,
to
right? Not 24
it,
karat.
again, no, it's not. It's gold
Okay.
plating.
Yeah.
And it looks good. It's in good enough condition, right? There's really not much wrong with it.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a good watch.
but I wanted to sell it so I could buy a different whale watch, and I've tried to sell it multiple times, and nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. I'm not even trying to make money off of it. I've even offered it for less than what I bought it for. I think $150. I paid 175, taking a loss on it. Still, nobody will touch it. I don't get it. I don't understand. It was just one of those things where it was cool. It looked cool. At the moment, I just wanted to have it. I bought it, and I think a week or two after it arrived, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have gotten this one.
Whoops.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
But I wear it from time to time, and it's pretty to look at. It just sits in the box. I just wish it, I could replace it with something else. That's all.
Well, I mean, you have liked my whale for a long time, and the one I've got
Yeah.
is different.
Hmm.
It actually has the high torque movement in it that goes in the Braille watch you have, the
Hmm.
non-automatic one. So it's a harder watch to get to, and I've got that new old stock dial on it. They're good watches for what they really are, which is just kind of go anywhere, do anything kind of watch. And there were so many iterations of that as a style and as a stylistic piece. I mean, it'd be great for those to be reissued, just as a,
And
we've talked
we
about this
brought
before.
that, yeah, we brought that up with Michael on one time, where it would be cool to see what did we call it, Fudgy the Whale,
Budgie the Whale.
to see him, because he does exist on one version, maybe a couple versions of the modern Marine Star.
Yeah, on the case back.
He shows up on the case back, and he shows up on the strap.
Yeah.
But he needs to be moved to the front. He
Yes.
needs the recognition that he deserves.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah. So to bring Fudgy back, I think would be really cool. A cool piece of history. Um, I don't know. If you want it, hit me up.
It'll
We'll
take
work
trade.
something out. Or trades, yeah. Because ultimately, I would sell it and just buy something else to replace it with. So I'm open for trades too.
There you go. All
This
right.
has become the Spring Bar classifieds.
Spring Bar
This
classifieds.
episode so far, yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
my last buying regret, and I know you're gonna have one with this one.
I love this so much.
Oh, I do regret buying the white dial Yama yachting graph, only
Yeah.
because I later have realized that I wanted the blue dial, which I also have, and I've tried to sell the white dial, and again, nobody wants it.
Yep.
Nobody wants it. Can't sell this thing. So now I have both. And it's not that I don't like it. It's not that I don't like the watch. I just prefer the blue dial over this one, but I have this one now to wear for whatever next time I go to Miami, I guess.
There you go.
Find myself on a boat or something.
Right. Uh-huh.
But I do regret not buying the blue dial first.
That
And,
watch
and
looks good from far away. It looks good on somebody else's wrist. That's
well,
that's what it
I
is.
I also agree that it would look great on somebody else's wrist. Just the right person has not come along yet.
Also available for trade. Unfortunately, not
Yeah,
for the white, not for the blue dial because he's already got that. So
yeah.
throwing that out there for you.
But it's a great little watch. It really is. It
On,
has its quirks that we've
on
discussed in
somebody else's
length. I
wrist.
mean, we've kind of beat this one to a pulp on this show here. We've been
Mm,
a little harsh on it, but
mm.
yeah, but
Review
it's
to
not bad.
come
I know. One of these days.
one of these days. Someday.
One of these days. Yeah. But let's get into things that I wish I didn't sell.
All right.
This, and I tried looking up last night to get a model name for this, and I couldn't find it. I don't remember what year it was exactly. This was, again, very early on in my Bulova collecting days. This was one of the first Accutron watches that I bought. Very cool tonneau shaped case, gold case,
I would
gold
put
plated,
that one. It's a 218, right?
just as a 218.
And it has the crown at 4.
Yep.
I would put that as like a early 70s. I don't think it's a late 60s,
No, it's not a 60s. It was definitely a 70s.
but it'd be real early, like 71, 72, because they
I
moved to the
wanted to say it
219.
was 70 or 71, and I couldn't
Yeah,
find it in either one of those books.
yeah,
But everything about this watch, just that roulette minute track with the pylon hands and
yeah.
the way that the Accutron and the tuning fork are separated and the date window. I mean, the whole thing. I really, really liked that watch. And I don't even remember, if I'm being honest, why I sold it. Maybe to fund buying something else.
I think so. That's what I recall. Because
I
you
don't
didn't wear
remember.
it that much because it was gold, right? It was a gold case.
It was a gold case, and it's hard to tell from this picture, but like the corners of the lugs was
Yeah.
really badly worn. The edge around
It was
here was
worn
worn.
and it was gold, and you don't do gold that much. And so I was like, okay, I get it. I get it. And it didn't appeal enough to me because it was just too funky of a dial. But somebody got it and somebody loves it, I'm sure.
It's somewhere. I don't know. I don't know what happened to it. This was an eBay sale.
Yeah.
I wish I had it. I would send it to get it replated and make it look nice because the hands and the dial were really, really good, and the
Yeah.
thing ran great. Um, and they do pop up for sale from time to time.
The same dial? I don't think I've ever seen it other
Same
than that one.
everything. Yeah,
No
the
kidding.
exact same watch. But a lot of times because these are brass cases and they get gouges real bad, especially on the bottom side for some reason.
Yeah.
So to find one that's worth having replated is not an easy thing to come by. So I truly feel one day I will buy one of these again because I genuinely miss this watch.
Yeah.
And another one that I really truly miss. Oh, no, not that one. This one.
Really?
Oh,
I
my
see. That
lobster Q.
surprises me.
Oh, really?
It does. It does.
That might be too close there. My Accutron 2 Lobster. This is a big watch. This is a big watch.
Yeah. They wear large. And that
Yeah.
was a different case style than the one that you've got now.
This is different than so
The
this
snorkel.
was released at the same time with the Snorkel 2.
Yeah.
These were what, 2015? Like
Something like
right
that.
before Michael came and joined the company. Um, this was kind of one of the very early quote unquote reissues that Bulova did with
Yeah, that's kind of the
the
reimagining, the
snorkels, the
redesign
lobsters.
looking
Yeah.
suckers.
So it's similar to what the original lobster looks like. A lot of the same style cues. The
Yeah.
problem with this is these are very hard to find. They've done a couple of versions. They did a chronograph version with the
Yeah.
262 movement. They did a black and yellow version.
It was ugly. It was
Um,
bad.
yeah. And then you have this. The problem is there is so much real estate on the case that is radial brushed. My fear is that I'm going to get one and it's going to be scratched to hell.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it's because this one has a kind of a very thin outer bezel around the crystal that it's going to be difficult to remove that enough to the point where I can refinish the case. And because there's so much real estate, I feel as if it's not going to come out exactly right. The
Yeah.
one that I had here was perfect in every way. And
Did you
I
buy it new?
also, no, I didn't buy it new, but it was very rarely worn from
Yeah.
whoever I bought it from. Like it was perfect in every way. And I don't remember why I sold this one.
You sold that one to get the one you have now.
Is that what it was to buy
Yeah.
the snorkel?
Yeah.
Okay, that very well could have been.
Because
And I just,
you wanted that snorkel. You wanted that snorkel pretty bad. And I remember we found one. We had to
yeah,
source it. And
yeah.
you sold that one to fund it.
Okay, so that would make sense. And I miss it. I really wish I had another one of these. I wish I had both of them side by side.
No kidding.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah. I can see myself wearing the heck out of this one now. It tastes change, over time. Taste change, and I every once in a great while when I'm looking through pictures and that this pops up and it's like, oh, sorry, little buddy. So hopefully it's out there living a good life and not all scratched up. So
there you go.
that's the last of what I wish.
There you go.
And I'm sure there's probably others that we've forgotten that we've sold that we wish we
I'm
could have.
positive, but like, it's that whole thing too that as you start your journey and you're collecting and you're moving through and you're figuring out, okay, what do I like, what do I not like? The what is it? The first 10 watches you get are always regrets and you move them on pretty quick. So it's a learning curve. And then there's also the point when you suddenly decide, like in my case, when I decided to focus on the 666 dials, it's like, okay, well, there's a bunch of stuff that's got to go because it doesn't fit anymore. And all right, I let go a bunch of military stuff. I let go some chronographs. I let go some pretty decent watches, if we're going to be honest. I was scrolling through trying to find pictures of some of the stuff that we featured here. And I was looking
Hmm.
at some of it. I'm like, oh, I forgot I had that. Oh, I don't remember having that. Oh, look at that. That kind of stuff. And there's some
Yeah, and
interesting
that's kind
watches.
of, and it was a fun little journey back through time, looking through old pictures, and it's like, oh man, I missed that one. Oh, I remember that one. I had, oh man, I'm glad I got rid of that one,
Right,
kind
right.
of thing. And
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through my pictures because it reminds me of a watch that was an absolute impulse buy, and I bought it out of anger.
Out of anger.
Yes, but it was a story gone well. And I can't, I'm just going to have to pull up my Instagram here because I know I posted it fairly recently. It was my very first 666 watch. And as I'm looking for it, it was my Caravel Scuba.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, the story behind that was I was bidding on an Ecutron Deep Sea. I never get these right. The A, I think,
A
with
has the
the
inner
red
bezel.
and okay, it's not that one. The whichever one has the Coke bezel.
AB.
Is it okay? So I was bidding on that, and I bid it up to $500. And at the last second, I'm talking 5 seconds left, somebody sniped it out from underneath me, and I got so mad that I didn't. Here it is right here. I got so mad that I didn't win that watch that I just went scrolling through eBay and found, a Bulova 666, and this one came up, and this one was 495 or
Buy
best
it now.
offer, and I made an offer on it and within I don't know 30 minutes the seller accepted. I'm like, and I was so excited because I got a 666 dial watch, and I still have that watch, and it is one of my favorite watches, and it is one that will never leave my collection.
They
Um,
are remarkably fun. That watch
yeah,
in particular is really, really good. So,
but
you
what's even funnier about that story is scrolling through Instagram sometime later, I actually came across the watch, the same watch, and I'm looking at it, and it's in the handset at the very tail end has some little rub marks. At some point, they just got put back on, and they were touching, and you can see in the corners where they rubbed a little bit. And I'm looking, I said, "That's the same." And so I messaged the Instagram user and said, "Hey, did you sell this by chance sell it?" And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I have your watch." So he and I have become good friends over the years, and we've since bought and sold watches to and from each other. He's bought several Jetstars for me, and I've restored some stuff for him. And it just a great overall guy. And it's just funny that I bought that watch out of anger from losing another listing, and we've just grown into good friends over the years. And it's been prosperous for both of us. And
look at that.
yeah, so that was a cool impulse buy that, just went right in all the ways.
Perfect.
Very rarely do impulse buys work
Work
out like
out.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also true.
yeah. So couldn't end it on a bad note. I had to share a positive story.
See, all's well that ends well.
Yeah. Do we have some time real quick to discuss something?
We could. I think we could. You want to go for it?
Okay. Let's talk about what started out as a really exciting news story in the watch world, which has since turned very controversial.
Mm. It's
And
going
I'm
to be interesting.
talking the revival of Universal Geneva.
Right.
Uh, Breitling purchased the company or
Well,
the
purchase
rights
the
to the
name, at
company, the
least.
name, yeah.
Yeah.
And when that news broke, everybody in the collector world went crazy because Universal is one of those brands that is widely loved by so many people.
Yeah. It's a
Uh,
collector darling for.
It really is. They manufactured mostly tool watches, and they did have some other weird little side collections, but a lot of their stuff was tool watch, manufactured for a purpose type watches, but they did it
Icompacts,
with such
tricompacts, space compacts, like all of their chronographs, moon phase.
Yeah.
That's without even getting into the pull router lines, the shadow lines.
Hmm.
There's some really, really good stuff, and it always
They're
has been.
really, really good stuff.
Right.
And Universal just kind of fell to the wayside and nothing really happened with it.
Yeah.
And Bulova owned them for a short period of time. And then to find out that they were going to come back.
Hmm.
They were going to come back. And a company with the financial means to be able to do it in a good way
Yeah.
was very exciting. And then come to find that they started teasing us with a lot of the original models.
So what? It's three. It was three watches. One of them's going to the
Well,
museum.
so not even that, not even that. Like they started showing pictures of some of the different chronographs. They started
Yeah.
showing pictures of the pull router. They were highlighting the Nina Rent and they were highlighting the what the Tricompax is, and a lot
Yeah.
of these older models that people are hoping are going to get reissued is what they're teasing us with. And then they came out with these three special pull routers.
Right. But the article comes up later, and they're talking about pricing. And so the
Hmm.
issue I think that you and I both have is going to be specifically with pricing. And they're looking at it's going to be about
Well,
17 grand.
yeah, so it's pricing and where they want to position themselves within the market.
Yeah.
Like they want to be this niche upper echelon brand now,
Yeah. And
which
it's an interesting
Universal really
segment that
wasn't.
it's an interesting segment that they're trying to put themselves into because it's not exactly Omega, but it's
Hmm.
also it seems like it's a little bit under well it's even over where some of Breitling is going to be. So, for
Oh yeah.
instance, right, if you're looking for like that B09, the pistachio dial chronograph that Breitling has that you and I
Hmm.
both love, right? We've seen it
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it's a fantastic watch. That's about 9 grand. So they're looking at positioning, way, way higher than that.
Oh, they're
Um,
going to be well above that because,
well,
like you
yeah,
just
so
said,
it's 17,000. You're looking at some
so
of
$17,000 is their steel time only watch. That's not for a chronograph.
right
That's not a precious metal. That's not a limited edition. That is your entry
entry
level.
level.
Yeah, which is stupid expensive for what it is.
But okay, so let's talk this for a second because I found a price list, and it's 1947, and so it's some of the earlier watches from 1947. But when you do the calculations for what they were listed for, was we're looking at a two register chronograph with a moon phase, and it was for sale in 1947 for $95, and
Which translates to,
that works out to be about 1,400 bucks.
okay,
Right, 1400, not
yeah,
1400, not 14,000, fourteen
yeah,
hundred. Okay.
1400.
The Unicompax was the same. The Tricompax with the moon phase was $155, and that works out to be 2275. So they're adding a zero into
Yeah.
all of this kind of discussion, which I find fascinating. And also, and this is an article that came out recently. Ben Clymer,
Hmm.
Brinky, Ben Clymer, bought and has a pink, gold, black dial pull router,
Hmm.
which is a stunning, stunning collection.
Hmm.
Those watches, like the pull router, is definitely a favorite of mine.
Hmm.
That's the one that like we were picking watches to buy each other as a holiday, right? That was the one you chose for me, right? Absolutely fantastic. His is new in box. It has
Hmm.
never been worn. He bought it that way and just to have it and look at it. Okay? Okay.
Just a couple.
He's auctioning off some watches. And it's going up through, I think, Sotheby's today. Maybe
Hmm.
to, maybe the listing was started yesterday. The estimate for that watch, brand new, never been worn, is $3,000 to $6,000. I think it may go for higher,
I
but
think it'll go
that's
higher.
but that's the estimate. All right, and now they're going to want 17,000 for a new one. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to work out. I don't know if that's going to do what they want it to, and it's unfortunate because I think that you're talking about a collector's darling. I think if it were at a different price point, I know that you and I would consider it. So I don't know.
For sure, yeah, and that's the problem that I have. I feel like they are going to price themselves out of reach from the people who were the ones that were all excited for this
Yeah,
return to happen.
I'm sure. I'm sure, and it's going to be an interesting move. And I'm wondering what's going to happen to them in the market if this is going to be a successful or mediocre or failed experiment. You know?
Yeah, and we'll have to wait to find out because I think they said that they're not slated to bring anything back until 26.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
2026 at some point. We've still got a whole year to get through
yeah.
before we even find out, what happens. Hopefully within that time frame, they kind of come to their senses and
And it could be, it could be they throw it out to just that's their well, let's put up a balloon and see what happens.
yeah.
Who knows?
So I don't know. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating because it's a great brand with some really cool history in it for it to be out of reach for, let's be honest, the majority of the collectors that are really truly enthusiastic about this brand.
Yeah,
I think it's just a terrible, terrible decision. But that's just me. So
it is just you. All right.
yeah.
That's kind of our last call, isn't it?
I guess that would be our last call. Yeah.
All right. Well, how do we get in touch, Mike?
Well, today, Joe, you and I, we make up the Spring Bar Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at the Spring Bar Podcast. You can email us, the springbarpodcast@gmail.com. As always, not as always. Well, as always.
As always.
I am 120 clicks. All spelled out. One long word, 120 clicks. Joe?
Watch Taylor Youth, EUPH, on Instagram and other spaces.
And don't forget, this was a listener topic, and I think we kind of had fun going down memory lane with this. So if you have something that you want to hear us talk about, let us know. Hit us up.
Yeah.
And we'll be glad to accept your ideas as long as they're
We don't have to
terrible
come up with
ones.
something.
Yeah, I know, right? Saves us all that work. All right. Well, next week, Christmas episode. Until then, Joe, keep drinking that cheer.
Cheers.
Cheers.